What's up, kings and queens? It's your boy Dan from Dark Previews, and in today's video, I'm going to take you through a preview of Thursday Night Football between the Jets and the Patriots. If that sounds interesting, then let's go! So we're jumping straight into Outlier. If you're interested in checking out this tool, 7-day free trial in the video description below is my go-to tool for all my sports betting needs, whether we're talking about totals, spreads, and especially player props, so feel free to check that out. Firstly, on the total, this has actually been bet down. You can find it at 37.5, 38.5 seems to be the consensus right now, but it's definitely on the way down. And I guess everybody's betting the under purely based on how these teams have played in the past. And for me, I'm not really buying that narrative. I'm actually leaning towards the over in this one, especially if it's at 37.5. And why is that? Well, one difference between the Jets this year and last is they got Aaron Rodgers now. So a much improved quarterback running the show for the Jets. And the other thing is their defense hasn't been as strong this season compared to last. I'm probably not going to bet the over in this one. If I do have any players on the total, I'd probably be looking to tease it down and adding it to some sort of same game parlay, which I most likely will do before the game starts. Now, talking about the spread's at 6, and at first I was looking at the Patriots. And then I looked a little bit deeper into it, and then I started to lean more towards the Jets. Patriots coming to Thursday Night Football after a 23-20 overtime loss to the Seahawks. Patriots, top 5 in the NFL in rushing yards, 177.5 a game. Their defense has been pretty good, especially stopping the run. They held Zach Charbonnet to 2.7 yards per carry, but their passing defense sucked. Geno Smith, 327 yards through the air. I guess the other thing is the Patriots dealing with a whole lot of injuries in the short week. Whereas with the Jets, they got their first win of 2024, beat Tennessee 24-17. Breece Hall, he was pretty good. 62 rushing yards, 52 receiving yards with a touchdown as well. They also had that rookie running back. What's his name? Braylon Allen. He's pretty much stole the show. He ran for 33 yards, 7 carries, a touchdown, 2 receptions for 23 yards. So what else is there? Aaron Rodgers completed 18 of 30 passes, 176 yards, 2 passing touchdowns. Garrett Wilson, 57 receiving yards. He's been okay, but I think he can explode at some point in the season. The Jets defense, it did look a little bit better than it did against the 49ers. 82 rush yards to running backs. They also play their third game in 11 days, but that makes me lean Patriots. But then all those injuries to that offensive line make me lean to the Jets. I think the other factor you got to think about is the Jets' first home game for the season. And they also got a chance to go crazy in prime time, looking to redeem themselves after they got smoked by the Niners. So I'm leaning towards the Jets, but I don't think I'm going to bet it. I'll probably end up teasing it down. Or if you tease it down, you're pretty much taking Jets money line, aren't you? So Jets money line and a lower alternate total to take the over is probably where I'd be thinking. But you're probably here for some player props. Shit, that's what I'd be here for. But before we get into them, I ask that you like this video, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. I also want to know what your best bet is for this game. Let me know in the comment section below. I know I shouldn't be, but I read every single one of them, so I'll be sure to reply to you. Let me know what your best bet is. Now let's get into these player props, shall we? Let's go! So I've taken a deep dive into both quarterbacks and running backs from both teams. We'll start with the quarterbacks first, and then we'll finish with these RBs because they are the bets that I love the most. 7-1 on my running back plays last week, so be sure to stick around to the end of this video so you catch all the plays. The first person I want to talk through is Jacoby Brissett. And for Jacoby Brissett, the play that I'm looking at here is under 28.5 pass attempts for Jacoby Brissett. Lines moved to 27.5, but I'm sure there are 28.5 out there as well. Now, he's yet to cover this line this season, 24 and 27 attempts in his first 2 games. This Patriots team have been running a pretty conservative plan the past 2 games. Ramondre Stevenson, been an absolute workhorse for New England, and it looks like they're going to stick to the plan, sticking around the ground game and see where that takes them. Pretty much tells me that they don't trust Brissett, whoever the play caller is. And look, honestly, I don't blame him. He's doing a decent job, though. He's not turning the ball over, and it helps. You don't turn the ball over if you don't pass the ball that much, right? Now, if you take a look here on Outlier, you can see the New England Patriots, a 58% run rate from the 2 games this season, much higher than the league average, so they're not passing the ball as much. The only reason they would need to pass the ball is if they fall behind by a very large margin in this game. Based on the spread and how well New England have been playing so far this season, I doubt it gets into that game script territory where he's got to just throw the ball in every single play. So he's only attempted 51 attempts in the first 2 games. So if you think about combining limited volume, a conservative game plan from the Patriots, I think we're going to see another run-heavy game script. especially when you look at this matchup. So this Jets defense, they've allowed 423 passing yards, 1 passing touchdown over the first 2 weeks. Their defense, though, hasn't been great on the ground. They're allowing 4.7 yards per carry. So everything is screaming to a low attempt game here for Jacoby Brissett. So that's the narrative that I'm playing into. If we think about the competition the Jets have had, Brock Purdy had 29 attempts in week 1, Will Levis had 28 attempts in week 2. And both of those quarterbacks playing more pass-heavy offenses than this Patriots team. Like I said, they run the ball close to 60% of the snaps. So I just don't see him getting the volume that he needs to go over this line. So Jacoby Brissett, under 28.5 passing attempts, even the 27.5, I would still be looking to take that if I'm being honest with you. But that's a lean for now. I haven't bet it, but knowing me, I most likely will. But those who sign into my winnable, you see every single bet anyway. So now let's talk about Aaron Rodgers. So there's a few props that I like for Aaron Rodgers in this one. I want to give you the most likely one, right? I want you guys winning, not losing. Looking at over 20 pass completions. The book's probably at 19.5. Some have it at 20.5 as well. Now, the Jets, I don't think they're going to have as much success on the ground. So Rodgers probably lets that thing fly. The Patriots, bottom 6 of the league in terms of passing completion rate and pass attempts against the Patriots. 21 completions from 29 attempts from Joe Burrow in week 1. And then Geno Smith absolutely lit them up. 33 completions from 44 attempts last week. I also think this Jets offense should only improve after such a big change to their quarterback situation once these combinations settle in. So I do like Aaron Rodgers to really come plays here. Whether he goes short, whether he goes long, I don't give a fuck as long as he's passing that thing around. But if you are looking for an absolute lock on Aaron Rodgers, I've got one for you right now. This bet will not lose. I can guarantee you that. This is sports betting, and we don't guarantee. Actually, I shouldn't guarantee it, but it's pretty much free. And all you need to do is head over to Chalkboard. So Chalkboard, they've got an Aaron Rodgers free square this week for this game, 0.5 passing yards. So combining with your favorite prop of your own, or take one of mine that I mentioned in this video. They're also going to match your first deposit, so you double your money just by signing up. Use a link in the video description or use the code DAFT to take advantage of this offer. Now we're going to get into these running backs. Now, I did quite well with running backs last week, and honestly, my thought process around it was, will this motherfucker run or not? Like, that was my whole thought process. Will he run, and will he or won't he run? And Breece Hall, I think he does a little running, but what I do love in this play is this. In this game, it's over 4.5 receptions, plus money play, and you know how I feel about plus money. Now, in terms of his receptions, he's recorded 7 and 5. In his first 2 games with Aaron Rodgers, averaging 7 targets per game as well. I've looked back at his short career, and he's actually had 12 games where he's had 6 targets or more. He's recorded 5+ receptions in 11 of those games. So 11 out of 12 games, Breece Hall has covered this line when he sees at least 6 targets. So provided Rodgers keeps looking his way, like he has been, I can't see why he goes under. Now, why do I think Rodgers looks his way? Well, Patriots defense, they've recorded 6 sacks in their first 2 games of the season, and I think Rodgers will find some pressure in this one. He's not as mobile at his age, so I think we see him pass that shit off real quick to Breece. Now, Zach Moss and Chase Brown combined for 5 receptions and 7 targets in week 1, and Zach Charbonnet had 5 receptions from 5 targets in week 2. So Breece, he also has the highest target share of all running backs this season, and I love his over in this one. Over 4.5. It's plus money, baby. Let's go with Breece. And now we're heading to my man. I know I said this on the last video, but I stand by it. Ramondre Stevenson. The name Ramondre just gets me excited. I honestly love it to bits. Like, if my skin was any darker, my son would name Ramondre, but it ain't. But I like his over 86 or 85.5 rushing plus receiving yards, depending on where you look. Now, I bet on my man last week, and I'm running it back. I think this should be a close matchup. I don't see the Patriots abandoning the run at all, especially with the injuries to their offensive line. The Jets, they do have an elite pass defense, but they've been pretty ass on the ground. The Jets, they allow the 3rd most rush attempts in the league and the 8th most rushing yards. They allowed 147 rushing yards to Mason in week 1, then 62 yards to Pollard in week 2. Now, Ramondre also saw 5 targets last week, so I think there's some value in him as a receiver, which is why I'm running his rushing plus receiving prop. Over his last 20 games where he's seen 5 targets or more, he's actually averaging 32 receiving yards. I think his receiving yards line is between 10 and 15 at the moment, so I think there's opportunity there. He's also covered this line of 85.5 at an 83% rate when he takes more than 16 carries, which is where his line is set. But I honestly think he gets close to 20 in this game. Now, Ramondre can cover this line in rush yards alone, but I do see some value in his receiving yards too. And instead of playing two different bets, let's just do rushing plus receiving for Ramondre. I think the Pats, they'll limit the long passes downfield. So if Brissett does choose to pass, I think he's going short to Hunter Henry or to Ramondre. Now, the Jets allowed 40 receiving yards to Pollard in week 2 from five receptions. Ramondre also had 5 targets last week, but he dropped the ball 3 times. So he continues to see these looks and he catches that damn ball a little bit better. I do like his receiving prop too. But on with rushing plus receiving for my man Ramondre. They're going to run him into the ground. He might retire after this season with the amount of runs he's about to do. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. Videos every single day, whether it's about WNBA slates, weekly videos for my NFL best bits, or my Thursday night football, my Monday night football shit. I got you covered. So be sure to subscribe to the channel. We're close to getting 10,000. I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.